Hey, I'm Dr. Paul and welcome to the presentation on how to stop lowball offers. Specifically what we're going to be covering is, that's the main category, is how to stop lowball offers. But in addition to that, we're going to cover several topics that seem to have some difficulty with attorneys with their injury claim awards, especially with the soft tissue spinal injury. Specifically, not only how to stop lowball offers, but what is the documentation that's required to stop the injury argument of the pre-existing injury, And then in addition to that is how to stop the injury argument of what happens with the documentation necessary for a low impact injury, specifically with low property damage. So what is the documentation? We're going to cover, and we're going to go into exactly the details of the documentation that actually defends against those categories. And then what we're also going to cover is the top 5 financial driver categories. And the difference between those is what I call the difference between low and high sensitivity testing. And then from there, the 4 categories to defend the case, and then the 6 categories to tell the story to win the case. Now that's what's going to determine your injury award, the injury award. It's going to be the top 5 financial drivers. It's going to be the 4 categories to defend the case. And then it's going to be the 6 steps to tell the story. That's what it's going to be. And now I'm going to go into detail exactly the documentation necessary for each of those categories. And of course, the more of that documentation that the doctors supply, then that's actually what stops lowball offers, number 1. It actually defends against the pre-existing injury. It defends against the low property damage injury. And when you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, the top 5 financial driver categories, the 4 categories to defend the case, and the 6 steps to tell the story, that's what leads to 4 separate injury awards. And I'm going to cover exactly what those 4 separate injury awards are. Now this is from the doctor's documentation. So we're going to cover the documentation necessary for not just the medicals, but for the impairment, for the pain and suffering, and the need for future care. And typically when you have the documentation to support all those categories, and we're going to show the exact documentation and how that works, that's when you not only stop lowball offers, that's typically when you win a policy limit award. Now, what we're going to do is show exactly how the documentation aligns with the injury award. See, there's 4 types of injury awards. There's what we call the the no offer. Then we have what's called the lowball offer, and of course that's what attorneys are used to getting. And then we have what's called the highball offer, where you'll get significantly more than what you thought. And then there's the policy limit award. And I'm going to go into all of those categories. I'm going to go into the top 5 financial drivers. We're going to go into the injury categories, the impairment, the loss of enjoyment of lifetime activities, duties under duress, the prognosis and need for care. We're going to go into how to defend the case against the pre-existing injury, the low impact injury with low property damage, the argument, whether there's subjective, objective evidence, and the argument to defend against medical documentation using a medical team. So, and then we're going to show how when we take that documentation and we put it in the 6 steps, those 6 steps is actually what stops lowball offers. And then how much you get there is, it's not only stops lowball offers, now moves the injury award into what's called a highball offer or a policy limit award. And that's exactly what I'm going to cover in the presentation. And the reason I'm the one that can cover it too is, again, I'm Dr. Paul. I've opened 77 offices in 20 states, largest chiropractic provider in the world. Let's see, I've been a speaker in 3 chiropractic colleges. I've written 10 books now. Most of my books deal with chiropractic, marketing, personal injury. I actually teach personal injury to doctors and attorneys. I specifically have never lost a case in court when testifying on behalf of my patients, and I've won the largest verdict in the county for my patient. So I've also donated over $500,000 into the chiropractic profession, and I'm the only chiropractor who has beat the United States government in trial by jury, the only chiropractor. And so I have a wealth of background. We know exactly how to put these cases together, what's needed, how to put it together to stop lowball offers, how to defend against the pre-existing injury, how to defend against the low impact, low property damage injury, and then also how to put the case together to not only stop lowball offers, but to create policy limit awards. That's exactly what we're going to show you in the presentation. Now, the presentation includes a dinner, So if you come out, we have a dinner for you. We also have it's also continuing legal education credits that you're going to get. And all you have to do is make your reservation. Now, we are limiting the dinner presentation to only 20 attorneys, and it is RSVP, so it's first come, first serve. You do have to call and make reservations, first come, first serve, and it is limited to 20. So just contact the person that introduced to you this dinner presentation for you. And again, who will be there is not only other attorneys, but there'll also be other doctors there. So you can also network with the other doctors. But what you want to do is get in touch with the doctor who gave you this information, and they will make your reservation and hold your spot for you. And that's what we'll do. We'll show you we'll show you exactly the documentation needed to stop low ball offers, to defend against the low impact, low property damage, to defend it. What's the documentation necessary to defend against the pre-existing injury, and what's the documentation that takes injury awards out of the no offer, low ball offer category into the high ball offer policy limit award category. That's exactly what we're going to cover. I'm Dr. Paul. Hope to see you there. Again, RSVP, contact the doctor who gave you this, who introduced you to this information to reserve your seat.